Enggak bu dokter. Ini juga jam. Uh, 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 may I bring to the attention of the House that you want to start our meeting by a word of prayer. Almighty God, in your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the officers of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold in your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of product trust in the country. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so a just and a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace and prosperity and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Any apology, members? Apology from members? We have an agenda. We are interrogating the Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Gulf and Nyanas Water Company's financial year 2023-2024 and county. Okay. May I get the proposer for the adoption? Honorable Matara proposed, Honorable James Umolo seconded. Thank you. Honorable Ken Ouko, MCA West Kisumu Ward, Chair, PICPAC County Assembly of Kisumu. Thank you.
My name is Honorable Tom Nditi, MCA Ombei Ward and Vice Chair of the committee. Thank you.
I'm Honorable James Omolo, MCA West Nyanas, a member of the committee.
Good morning. I'm James Were, MCA for Nyalenda B Ward and a member of the committee.
Morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. I'm Nancy Matero Ochieng, a member of this committee.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. I'm Habilo Mondi Nyasuna, MCA Masogo Nyangoma.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Honorable Peter Basso, specially elected to represent interests of our youth in this county and friend of the committee. Thank you.
Back to the Secretariat.
Austin Ochieng, Committee Clerk.
My name is Chris Oguta, Committee Clerk Assistant.
Quickly forward, member of the Secretariat.
Patrick Okoyo, Answered Officer.
Okay, back to the Office of the Auditor General.
I'm Daisy Mukoya from the Office of the Auditor General.
I'm Kipkoye Chuta from the Office of the Auditor General.
Kennedy Ongoi from the same office.
Back to the Office of the Accounting Officers.
Eldo Dongo, Project Manager.
Nicholas Mosetti, Kisumu Water Sanitation Company.
Maureen Ondeng, Rural Water Manager.
Okay, Sergeant Atam, approach the chair. We want to administer the oath. You can proceed.
I, Elda Odongo, do solemnly and sincerely swear that every word that I shall utter before the Public Accounts and Investment Committee is the truth and nothing but the truth, and that every statement and declaration that I shall make shall be made believing the same to be true and according to the oaths and statutory declaration act. So help me God.
Thank you very much. May I confirm from the office of the clerk whether they got responses from the accounting officers in time?
Chairman, we did receive the responses in time. Thank you.
Thank you. May I confirm again from the office of the Auditor General whether they got responses from the accounting officers in time?
Yeah, I confirm we received the responses in time. We have verified them.
Maybe office of the Auditor General, may you please tell the committee the auditor's opinion and what informs such kind of decisions?
Thank you, Chair. The report of the Auditor General for Nyanas Water and Sanitation Company for the year ended 30th June 2024 was a disclaimer of opinion. And the disclaimer of opinion was informed. By disclaimer, we mean we did not issue a report of the Auditor General for the company, and therefore we disclaim the financial statements. What informed that disclaimer is the 25 issues that's contained in the report of the 24 issues that are contained in the report of the Auditor General informed the disclaimer of opinion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Maybe before you go, we go to the issues flagged by the auditor. We realize it was disclaimer for every statement. What happened? Accounting officer, what happened? Briefly, what can you say?
Thank you, Chair. What I can say is that a lot of the issues stem from governance issues that we have brought before the House before, as even last year they were there. Most of them are governance issues that are yet to be. Other than that, there are issues that are in the 25 issues that were brought forward that we actually gave responses to in time, but they were not struck out of the final report.
So in other words, you accept that you belong to the disclaimer? Is it?
To a big extent, when it comes to the governance issues, yes. The governance issues that we cannot, we have no control.
Financial?
On the financial issues, the issues that were raised, we actually gave the responses in time, but they were not taken into consideration.
No?
Because they still appeared even though we gave the response in a timely manner.
Maybe they were not convincing to the auditor.
And
remember, the auditors are here.
Yes, they are here. That's why I'm confident that we gave them the responses, and we still have annexed the responses in the report that we have presented before the House today. And we will still be able to demonstrate that the responses were accurate. They were just not.
So we have gone through the two reports, and we realize some are just repeating themselves. So we have decided to select some from the other report, and the ones which we will be leaving in the first report, ask in the second report. That is what is happening. Now, we are starting with Nyanas. We have question 1. We have question 2, unsupported vehicle running expenses. We have question 3, unsupported legal expenses. We have question 9, non-compliance with the law on constitution of the board of directors. 10, lack of company incorporation document. 11, operation without substantive accounting officer and management team. We also have question 12. Operations with board of directors. Operation without board of directors. And finally, question 16. 16.2. Weaknesses in payroll management. So, back to the office of the data. Question 1.
Unsupported production expenses. The statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income reflects an amount of Kenya shillings 28,270,311 in respect of production expenses as disclosed in Note 10 to the financial statements. Included in the amount is Kenya shillings 4,034,380 in respect of chemicals and the expenses for production, and 24,235,931 for electricity supply. However, requisition for the chemicals, delivery notes, stores, records showing how the chemicals were received in the stores, issued from the stores, and the procurement files were not provided for audit review. In the circumstances, the accuracy, completeness, and regularity of the expenditure of Kenya shillings 28,270,311 in respect of production expenses could not be confirmed.
The chemical amount of 4 million and 4 million is donation from Kiwasco as per MOU and are fully supported by requisition and debit notes from the company and store issues from Kiwasco and are provided during the audit exercise. These are not procured directly by Nyanas and therefore procurement files are not available and the identification of suppliers do not apply. Attach as scanned copies of gate passes and Kiwasco report on items delivered to Nyanas and one.
Back to the back to the office of the Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. The management did not provide requisitions, delivery notice. What they did by only
Provide us.
Yes, yeah. What happens is Kiwasco issues the chemicals directly for usage. We don't take them to Nyanas for store. So there is no such document store issuing notes that we could provide you. That's why we provided what was issued from Kiwasco as the gate passes. So whatever we receive, we use it. We don't give so much that they're able to store.
What really stopped you from getting copies of the documents from Kiwasco?
They were provided during.
If they were in the annexes.
If you go to the annex 1, they're there.
So within the annex 1, have delivery notes, store records, and records from the store, and requisitions. We have them.
If you go to annex 1,
yeah.
We have what was issued, that is the gate pass. And then the gate passes that were used to release these chemicals from Kiwasco. Because that is the only document that we're able to give them. But now if they wanted to get the source.
No. Did you provide, because you are alleging that you provided these documents and they are in the annex?
Yes, so, they were provided.
But if they were provided, why are they not here? Because I'm only seeing the gate passes. If the where is the delivery note? Not that they want, but you had a meeting with them. So what You see, what you are giving is what gate passes. But I asked, what really stopped you from getting all these copies from Kiwasco?
Nyanas does not have a supply chain function. The supply chain function for Nyanas is handled by Kiwasco. So we did provide the gate passes, but we didn't provide the other supply chain documents that were required. But we now understand that we can also provide Kiwasco documents during the audit of Nyanas and Gulf.
Why? Why did you not give Nyanas the copies? Because audit is about evidence. How did you expect their issues to be resolved? If you hold their documents, the documents pertaining to what is asked by the auditor, and you expect them to be cleared, how?
The chemicals are not purchased by Nyanas. The chemicals are purchased by Kiwasco, and they're given to Nyanas as a donation.
So it appeared in their financial statement showing 4,034,380. So it was to raise audit issues because it was not supported. Why did you not help Nyanas to get copies so that they be cleared if things were all right?
Yeah, Chair, I'm saying that now we know that
not now, Director.
Yeah.
I'm asking why did you not just reveal this? What stopped you from giving them the copies required?
There's nothing that stopped us, Chair. It was understanding that the gate pass sufficient evidence that we gave donations to Nyanas, that Nyanas received donations from Kiwasco.
Maybe members, if somebody has something.
Before the members, Chair, I wish to state that donations are supposed to be treated as income in the Nyanas books of accounts. But when we look at the financial statement that was given to us, the donations are not included in the financial statement. Otherwise, they are omitted. Therefore, the financial statements, as they are not giving a complete picture of the affairs of the company.
Honorable.
Chair, thank you. I think the instruments the auditors needed, according to me, is very clear. The delivery notes, the invoices, as such. You see, a company like Kiwasco, once they buy these materials, the chemicals, it is for their use, and as such, it will be captured in their auditing also. But when they release quite a huge sum, like 4 million worth of chemicals, to another entity, there should be a documentation towards that, so that whenever they are now appearing in Nyanas books of accounts, it should be clear. The deliverables were this, according to the delivery note, the invoices were this, to quantify the actual amount in question now. So without all this, then it's not really clear that these were receivables by Nyanas. So I just humbly request Kiwasco, if at all this is what they did, then these are documents which are a must, because either way, I don't know how we'll treat it in the other company, like Kiwasco, when we now have their books, because they will also appear there. But you see, they release them to the other entity. Which documentation in their supply chain management really release those things from them to the other entity? These documents must be there. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I think in this world there's nothing free. I don't think there's anything free. because the moment when you use it, you will be adding it to the cost when you are delivering water to whoever is. So there's nothing free. I hope you are properly guided that the documents is to be provided, and you are to do it. This is the last window you had. I don't know where you are going to take it to. Do you have such kind of documents with you today so that we table them? Accounting officer, do you have such kind of documents with you so that now?
Chair, like they've asked the first item, they're talking about requisitions. We have requisitions which we can provide. These are done in the system, which you are unable to explain and show them how it's done. We do it in the system. We don't have the physical documents. For us, it's in an ERP system. And so the requisitioner, who is the coordinator for rural water, gets in the system and requests. And once it's been approved in the system, the only thing that now remains is release. So they are released from store. And as said, when we buy them in bulk. What we give them is just piecemeal, because as MD explained, they don't even have a store. We give them what they're going to use immediately, because they don't have where to store them. They don't have a stores person or any procurement office in Nyanas or in Gulf. So we give them like we are releasing them from our store for use immediately. That's why some of these documents that are being asked for, if you ask for Kiwasco, then Kiwasco will give you. But they wanted the documents specifically for Nyanas, which are not available because they don't have those functions. And in the public procurement, you are allowed to procure items from another entity. If another entity has done the right procurement, then you are able to use their procurement to get. And so for us, we are using Kiwasco. Gulf and Nyanas uses Kiwasco. But the only thing they're able to do is to make a requisition and we issue. So the other thing that they may require, like stores issues note from Nyanas, you will never find them because they don't even have it in the first place. The only thing we are able to provide, which maybe we did not provide here, is the actual requisitions, which we may go into the system, then we go after the approval, we print them and provide.
How do you expect to support the use of, suppose it was a matter of use of 4-point-something million, if you don't have the supportive documents? And you are talking about the soft copies. You mean from the soft copies we can't get the hard copies? Your system is so close that you can't print such kind of documents and deliver them to the Nyanas?
We as explained earlier, Chairman, we were able to explain and show them how we do the requisitioning. And this is done in Kiwasco's system, not Nyanas' system. Nyanas does not have any system. We were auditing Nyanas, not Kiwasco at that point. And if you insist on finding documents for Nyanas, which you are not able to get, then what do you do? So the only thing that we have not attached here that could be relevant is the requisitions, which we can go into our system and just print them and attach.
So the issue of delivery notes and such kind of things you can't get from...
Delivery notes are delivered to Kiwasco, not to Nyanas. As we said, whatever they get from Kiwasco, from the stores, goes directly for use. They don't have a stores the other side. So whoever the person receiving the other side is, they will have to have another delivery note. Delivery notes are delivered by the suppliers, not by the company. They don't have a supplier. The supplier that delivers chemicals to Kiwasco delivers to us and gives us a delivery note, which we accept. But you see, that comes in bulk, maybe 10 tons or something. And this is what they need is less than a ton.
Okay. You've responded. Honorable James?
Yeah, I get him very well. I think with your ERP system, you're able to produce all the requisitions from Nyanas. Yes, but you see, when you are delivering them at the gate at Sondu, there should be a delivery note, really noting item XYZ amounting XYZ is this, delivered at such a time. So this is what the auditor is asking. So do you want to say that you just deliver it and that's it? No.
I'm giving Before I give it back to the auditor, Honorable Kumu.
Yeah, with the explanation of the Honorable James Omole, it will be like we are doing 2 deliveries. It will be like Nyanas not procured, but tendered Kiwasco to give them, what do we call them? Chemicals, yes. But this is a situation where Kiwasco is offering management support. And they've bought these things, and the person who is supplying them gives them. That's where the delivery note is signed, if I get it so well. It's signed at the Kiwasco. You cannot sign again another delivery note at Nyanas, because it will be that supplier again going to Nyanas and saying, I gave you 1,000 or 1 ton of alarm, yes, to Nini. So I think it's just right, but this support management it's so complicated. I know the intention of Kiwasco is to let our people have water, but the struggle has been on the management of these 2 companies, and we appreciate, especially in the absence of directors. Sometimes we even doubt the use of the items that you procure for such companies. So, like I said, we will go round and round. But I think the only cure for this thing is to dissolve those companies. I would not agree to Kiwasco giving opportunity to Nyanas, which does not have directors, does not have anything, to give them money to procure some of these things. I think that we'll be even having a greater loss for the items that we think we'll be procuring.
Mheshimiwa, don't jump the gun. We are coming there. Before we dissolve the company, we have to go through this to understand what is happening. You see, we need to support our report to whoever will be in charge of dissolving the company. So we need to understand a lot here. This is now what we are coming up with. Honorable James, you want something to add or before I give it back to the auditor?
Yeah, no, before you give it to the auditor, I'm wondering why these goods were never procured by Nyanas as we speak. And in their books, I think it's captured that these goods are in their books. Because as a donation, maybe they would have been captured as a donation, and in their books, they are really clean. They push it back to Kiwasco to be the owners of these goods. When we have it in their books, it really complicates everything again. Now we want the delivery note, we want the whatever invoices. How? Because from explanation of Honorable Seth, it seems Nyanas received, they don't have obligation on it because it's not really monetary. They're just donations and that's it, support to them. Thank you.
Back to the auditor, Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. What we are asking, very simple. Not asking a complicated document. Yes, it is true, or it could be true, that Kiwasco procured chemicals and donated the same chemicals to us. At the point of donation, we are not talking about the process of us. Kiwasco used to procure the chemicals. We are satisfied with that. At the point of issue of the chemicals to Nyanas, there must be a document which Kiwasco issue whoever is delivering the goods from Kiwasco Nyanas. The movement between Kiwasco and Nyanas at Sondu, if you move chemicals between Kiwasco and Nyanas without a document, you will be handling stolen property without any. So that document that you issued to those people is the one that we require. And if you have stores, there are forms which you must keep. If you are having chemicals which are stored in drums, you have to have a bin card. And if from the bin card issue, stores issue this register what? Issue note to the person who is delivering the. Those issue notes are the juncture, not just at the
I think you are well guided. Yes, we are giving you 2 days to provide what is expected. We proceed. Number 2.
Unsupported vehicle running expenses. The statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income reflects general operations expenses amounting to Kenya shillings 3,147,473 as disclosed under Note 11 to the financial statements. Included in the expenditure is vehicle running expenses amounting to Kenya shillings 2,019,808. Sample of payment vouchers submitted for audit revealed the following anomalies. Number 1, the work ticket for KBQ 695J for the year under review was not submitted for audit. On discussion with management, the said vehicle belongs to Gulf Company. The agreement to have the vehicle fueled by Nyanas Company was not availed for audit. A sample of fuel schedule revealed that this vehicle had drawn fuel amounting to Kenya shillings 122,969. Number 2, the work ticket for vehicle KAL 857U does not indicate any fuel drawn for the month of March 2024. However, the fuel statement supporting the payments for the fuel for the month indicates that the said vehicle drew 20 liters of fuel amounting to Kenya shillings 3,941. In such a circumstance, it was not possible to confirm if indeed the fuel paid was consumed by the company's vehicle. And number 3, payment of Kenya shillings 219,400 for the servicing of vehicle registration number KAL 847U was not supported by proper documentation such as requisitions by user departments, detail order, and work tickets. In the circumstances, the completeness, accuracy, and validity of vehicle running expenses of Kenya shillings 3,247,473 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting. We'll have to answer question 1, 2, 3 that way.
Thank you, Chair. The work ticket for KPQ 695J is available and attached in Annex 2 for verification. Move to Annex 2, we're able to see it there.
Back to the auditor. That is now question 1. Are you through with your answer on question 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Unsupported program. Most of these documents were provided, or tickets were provided. What was missing is the agreement between now the Gulf and water, the usage of the motor vehicle. At the other document.
You have something to say?
Chair, we don't have anything to say. As was said, all these vehicles, they run both Gulf and Nyanas. If you realize, the same manager that is here runs both Gulf and Nyanas. So the same vehicles that we have allocated to Gulf and Nyanas, they work all over. There cannot be an agreement between Gulf and Nyanas. These vehicles have been given by Kiwasco in the first place to support the two companies. For us, we are treating them as one. So there cannot be any agreement between Gulf and Nyanas. And the same person who's supposed to sign, the same manager who is here is the same one that is also in Gulf and Nyanas. So how do we sign an agreement between them?
This are these two entities, or Nyanas and Kiwasco? Is it one entity? And why is it audited differently? And Kiwasco is also audited differently. Even if you have the agreement.
Legally, Chairman, there are 3 different entities legally. But for the purpose of operations, and that is why most of the queries that you're going to find here will mostly, largely, they'll be on governance issues. And the kind of agreement that we had to support the 2 companies, we are offering management support to the 2. We are treating them as one.
You are giving a management support. At what cost, really? If you release your vehicle to Nyanas, at what cost? Will you quantify? Is it possible for you to? It is possible for you to quantify what you give Nyanas and what remains to Kiwasco. You can't say it is one. Really, what kind of support? You are talking about the support, and that is the support. Can't you quantify what you are offering to? And there are ways that we can know you did offer this. That is what the Office of the Auditor is asking for. If you treat this entity as one, really, when it comes to audit, how will you answer all these questions?
Thank you, Chair. The agreement that we have is the MOU between the county and Kiwasco to offer management support. I believe that MOU should be sufficient agreement. There can't be any other agreement between Nyanas and Gulf. And that agreement, the MOU, also treats Gulf and Nyanas as rural water service provision. Yeah. Chair, I also want to say that the audit process adds a lot of value. So it's now becoming apparent that apart from the MOU, if there's any movement between Gulf and Nyanas, then probably we need to document that. So I think it's adding value. We now know how to treat such transactions going forward. Chair, I also want to tell you that the team you are seeing here are not employed by either Gulf or Nyanas. These are employees of Kiwasco offering management. Is under the payroll of Kiwasco, not the payroll of either Gulf and Nyanas. So the binding agreement that we have is the MOU that was signed between Kiwasco and the county government of Kisumu.
Yes, accepted.
Thank you, Chair. Although I'm late, but I want to register my presence in this committee. Chair, I have heard that...
Please introduce yourself.
I am Honorable Seth Ochieng, a member of County Assembly representing Market Milmani Ward, and at the same time the majority whip in the County Assembly. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I have heard the MD of Kiwasco indicate to this committee that there is an MOU between the county government and Kiwasco. Mr. Chair, procedurally, an MOU that is not deposited within this county assembly, I believe, is a nullity. Because any agreement between the county government, because Kiwasco is an entity of the county government of Kisumu. So any agreement or MOU between the county government of Kisumu and Kiwasco must be deposited with the assembly and thereby approved. So indicating to us that there's an MOU without the approval of assembly, I think should not have been admitted before this committee. Until such a date that they will admit that they will present that MOU to the county assembly for further approval, is when we'll talk about it. But Chair, with your guidance, I believe that we cannot talk about something that has not been presented before this House. Chair. I stand to be guided. Thank you.
Any other member? Honorable Wanda Lima. Maybe you introduce yourself, then you will proceed to your question.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. You introduced me, but anyway, my name is Gado Lima, MCA Southwest Nyakach. Mine will be very brief. I've really wanted to appear before this team because, if anything, the team that has led this county down is the Kewasco and Nyanas. And I can see the auditors gave a very good clarification on the same. First, without mincing my words, the MD himself doesn't even pick calls. Anybody's calls, that's not an audited report anyway. But I want to tell you, Chair, that I'm being served from my area with Nyanas. Nyanas is the entity that serves us with water in Southwest Nyakach. Chair, I want to say that there is no always clear boundary between Nyanas and Kewasco. Whoever does what and whoever doesn't do what is not very clear. I can think the auditors did a very good report by beginning as this. Not once, not twice. If you go to the Nyanas, the plant at Sondu, you'll be told there's no power. They didn't pay bills. They have been cut off of power. Reason being they don't pay the power. Then you ask yourself the number of meters that they have. The other day we were here and we were being told the amount the Kewasco charges per meter that should be remitted to the county. You know very well that Kewasco uses their money at source. And the revenue they give to this county is very minimal, if any.
On a point of order, sir.
Accepted, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, if we are not careful, we will move away from the audit queries and go into issues of how Kewasco operates and how Nyanas operates. I think the meeting today was about the audit queries that were raised by the Office of the Auditor General. And I would prefer that you guide the members, especially members who are not members of the committee. But we can only stick to that. Otherwise, Chair will take a lot of time. If they need how Kewasco operates and Nyanas operates, they can instruct the Committee on Water and Environment to invite Kewasco so that they can ask those questions. Chair, I request that you restrict our questions to the audit queries raised by the Office of the Auditor General so that we finish with the questions. Thank you, Chair.
I think he has something to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm not guided by what the member said because it's irrelevant. I'm building a point, Chair.
I've not ruled on anything. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Chair, why I was saying that, if you look at the management response from the auditor's report that we have here, the first thing is the chemical amount of 4 million is the donations from Kewasco. A donation. Kewasco donates chemical worth 4 million. To who? When they are donated to Nyanas, does the Nyanas also donate those water for free to the consumers? And where is Kewasco getting 4 million to donate to Nyanas?
Thank you.
Chair, I think we are in the audit query number 2. The number 1, honorable member is referring to, we are already done with it in the first instance. We are in the second question, and I think it should be limited to the audit query so that we can move. Otherwise, there are 24 queries. We won't be moving. Thank you, Chair.
You listened to a member. He was just talking about some issues. I think a member, can you just resume your seat? Just resume your seat. I think we are done with the question 1, and we really dispensed on it. Maybe when you are not there. But we still have almost 9 questions to be dispensed with. So there are some issues you will have to wait, especially on question 2. We are only done with question 1, There's also question 2, part 1, part 2, part 3. So kindly please allow we go to part 3 as you are absorbing many.
Chair, I had raised a point of order, and Mr. Chair, you have not ruled over it. Because the MD did indicate to us that there is an MOU, which I believe has not been deposited to this account, this county assembly, and thereby discussed. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, Kiwasco is not just an ordinary company. You wake up in the morning and then you sign MOUs with the county government without the indulgence of this honorable house, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Chair, with the MOU, with the MD indicating to us that there's an MOU without indicating or supplying evidence to that effect, Mr. Chair, I think the MD is taking this committee for a ride. Because for us to talk about an MOU, you as the chair plus the core committee member should be able to see this MOU. Not telling us that there is an MOU without supplying evidence to that effect, Chair. Chair, with that, I beg you to rule over that matter.
Interfering with that. Okay. This is now the second time we have issues with Nyanas and Gulf. And you can remember, members of the committee, we refused to dispense on this audit report. And we sent the audit report back because of issues. One of them was matters concerning Honorable Seth Kanga. The other one was the legality of the agreement on these matters. And I remember the auditors had to go back. We refused to dispense with this. But later on, when the auditor came back, we realized it is the duty of the auditor to audit this entity. And any audited entity must pass through this assembly. We were convinced that we are doing the right thing by going through the auditor's report. When you look at the way they said, the accounting officer is Mrs. Solongo. This is the accounting officer. It is not the Kiwasco. This Kiwasco, they are all today is just to support what the accounting officer is talking about. So really, that was one of the things which was there. But it is a requirement in law that any audited report done on any entity within the county, it must come the county assembly and we have to dispense with it. So despite the challenges, one way or the other, we have to go through this because it is an audited report for the Auditor General and submitted to the assembly. They had submitted the responses and such kind of things. So that is what is happening. The question of the MOU and such kind of things really is coming out when they are giving their supportive management role so far. That is what is happening. But by law, it is required that we have to go through the audited statement of Nyanas and Gulf. That is what is there. Yeah.
When Nyanas is invited into this honorable house, how does Kiwasco come in? Because there is no legal agreement here between Nyanas and Kiwasco. And when Nyanas is invited into this honorable house to respond to audit queries, then Kiwasco comes in. When you ask him whether there is a memorandum of understanding to that effect, there is no document to that effect. So it's become fishy. There's something between Nyanas and Kiwasco, which as an assembly, we don't understand. And you know, we are custodians. We are working here as member of the county assembly through delegated powers. As member of the county assembly, who are privy to question the county, the Kiwasco and Nyanas, we are not supplied with necessary documents of agreement between Nyanas and Kiwasco. Then what are we going to tell the public? Because you have had the Honorable Gado Lema indicate to us that he has serious concerns with as far as delivery of services in water is concerned. So when Nyanas is invited to this house and the MD of Kiwasco comes in without even a written document and you allow him to appear before this committee, then Chair, you are also letting the county assembly down unless you have been compromised. Because I believe the MD of Kiwasco is a persona non grata in this case. We are dealing with audit reports of Nyanas Water and Sanitation Company, and the MD of Kiwasco is coming in. As if we are dealing with issues to do with Lake Basin Development Authority, and the MD of Ewaso Nyiro Development Authority is also coming in, without indicating to us why the MD of Ewaso Nyiro Development Company is appearing when the Lake Basin Development Authority is invited. Yeah. Yeah, you have to guide this house appropriately because this is a house of records. People will be coming after us. There will be fourth assembly. And when the assembly is running and procedurally, those who will be coming this assembly will ask, this is how this assembly was proceeding and procedurally. Where the headmaster of Kisumu Boys invited, and the headmaster of Kisumu Day is also appearing in that to respond to audit reports of Kisumu Boys. I don't know how it's coming. And it's indicating to us that there is an MOU. Here you need to advise this committee appropriately. Otherwise, the public, and you know where the public is watching us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Before I give to Kiwasco, maybe I give member Honorable Kumu.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, I'm glad that the two members that have just submitted were members of this assembly between 2017 and 2022. And it's a blessing they are here again from 2022 up to now. Chair, if they had the interest of the people at heart, these stories we are talking here, they should know. I remember so well, Chair, that we were here with the Honorable Johnson Goya, following up on these two companies and how they relate with Kiwasco. And I want to say that sometimes we have to agree that laws are made for men, and men are not made for laws. Sometimes we make laws, but sometimes we bend them because we look at the bigger picture. Honorable Seth Ochieng, if you see the arrangement that Kiwasco is having with Nyanas Algav, it's in the interest of the people because they can choose not to relate with Nyanas Algav. They won't be operational. The waters that they are talking about that does not have regular supply in Nyakach would not be there completely. The waters in Seme that people are getting would not be there completely. But they've chose to bend the law to allow them to have these companies operate so that people can get water as we figure out how to make things straight. If you followed up, they will let you know that they are offering what we call management support. These are some things that we talked about, Honorable Whip, even in the previous assembly. And they mentioned why they were offering management support. That's why they give their vehicles. That's why they procure items for them, because those companies do not have directors, but those waters have to serve the people. We cannot stick to the law when the law is hurting the people. I agree with Kiwasco on providing management support. I agree with them appearing here to help us understand the financial statement of those two companies because the directors are not there and they won't provide staff for those two companies. They are here to tell us the situation as it is and we make decision. And that's why we decided to form Kiwasco. We need to operationalize Kiwasco to help us manage the rural water. It's not the responsibility of Kiwasco to operationalize Kiwasco because we knew that Nyanas and Gulf are not functioning legally, and we need another company to help them operate. And I think we need to be proud of Kiwasco for appearing before us. Let us know the situation as it is, and then we make a decision as a county government. This decision that they appear before us was made by the governor of Kisumu, that they offer management support. I think those documents have been brought here. We cannot come again to ask documents that have been brought here again over and over. If you need them, you can go to our files and find them. For now, Chair, let's stick to the audit queries and make decision and determination on how we can help the people in the rural get water and get good financial statements. Thank you so much, Chair.
Chair, how I wish my friend Honorable Seto Kumu could be the CEC of water, so that he talks about policies, because he's talking about policies as if he's representing the county government of Kisumu in this house. And I believe I'm the one who is supposed to represent the county government of Kisumu in this house by the virtue of being the whip of the county government of Kisumu. Chair, we are not dealing with love letters in this honorable house. We are dealing with an important document in the name of audit reports from the Office of the Controller of Audit, a constitutional office. And they have indicated several statutes as far as use of resources is concerned. And I did indicate that the audit report indicates Nyanas Water and Sanitation Company. In this audit report, there is no single annex indicated. I've checked on these annexes, whereby it is indicated that there is an MOU between the county government of Kisumu and Kiwasco to provide logistical supports and management support as indicated by Honorable Setoku. Mr. Chair, we should deal with audit reports as far as Nyanas is concerned. I don't see why when audit reports of Nyanas are talked about, then Kiwasco comes in. And this has been the case for the last 7 years. For the last 7 years. If there was a fault in the previous years, we cannot leave it by it and tell us that, oh, Kiwasco has been doing it. No, this is not a friendly game whereby you just wake up, oh, I'm helping Honorable Nditi. No! These are serious issues to do with the law. As far as companies are concerned, as far as the county government acts are concerned, the Public Finance Management Act, audit reports indicate them, Mr. Chair. So telling us that, oh, and defending Kiwasco and they're providing water. What? What are they providing? What are they providing? We need to talk about audit reports of Nyanas. Unless you guys have been compromised by the MD of Kiwasco. I don't know why it's appearing here. It should be declared a persona non grata. So that he waits for the day the audit reports of Kiwasco will be brought out to this house, then he appears. There are no sacred cows in this county, Mr. Chair.
Chair, I understand my whip very well, and I think we wouldn't be here if we had operationalized the Kiwasco. Because Kiwasco is now taking a burden which is not even theirs in the first place. And I think someone somewhere has failed this county by operationalizing because last year we were in Nakuru, I think Chief, we were with you in Nakuru to really come up with this new company which will take over the rural setup in terms of water provision. So, Chair, as we move, the whip is asking a very good question that Kiwasco is here. Yes, but when I ask the whip, do you know the MD of Nyanas? Have you ever seen him? Do you know even her? We don't have anybody in Nyanas. We don't have anything to show off. So they are just here to bail out Nyanas. Nothing else. But it is because of our fault. Kiwasco is already there. It is not operationalized, and someone is sitting in the office. And we are here blaming anybody. No. We should know who is really sitting on this Kiwasco, so that Kiwasco should deal with their jurisdiction of the city. And then Nyanas and the Gulf goes away, sublimes, and we have the Kiwasco to take over. We should be having Kiwasco to answer these queries, not Kiwasco as it is. Thank you, Chair.
Okumu, I'm giving a ruling on issues.
Chair, before you rule, I want to agree with the Honorable Whip that the MD of Kiwasco has really compromised us with facts about the situation on the ground so that we make a decision. And this fact should be clear to our whip so that he follows up as the whip of the biggest party in East and Central Africa on the operationalization of Kiwasco, so that we move Kiwasco and let Kiwasco serve its jurisdiction, which is the city. But condemning them when they come here to explain to us what's happening in those two companies, to me, I find it not right. The people who have submitted financial statement should be his first question. Who gave OAG the financial statement so that they can do audit? Before they appear here, I believe they're the ones who gave them the financial statements. That's why they can be here, because they offered management support. And the person who is responsible there for those two companies is an employee of Kiwasco. So Kiwasco, in my opinion, is here rightfully to help us understand the situation of these two companies and to make us move faster to dissolve them so that we can have a rural water company that can serve the people of our county. Without which, if we just stick to the law, and I said, laws are made for men. Men are not made for law. It's time that we bend this law, get the situation from Kiwasco and the report on the Auditor General, so that we make a decision as a county on what we can do about these two companies and how we can move on operationalizing the new company. Chair, let's stick to the audit queries. All these things we are asking, I don't see them. I don't see the auditor asking about an MOU. I didn't see that anywhere. Let's stick to the audit queries. If they want MOUs, back to water committee, they invite Kiwasco, they ask about MOU. On this today, it's about what's in the audit queries. Thank you, Chair.
I think members of the county assembly, the office of audit, and the accounting officers, Kiwasco is a wanted entity in this venture, this audited report. One. Secondly, it's a very interested party. It's going to guide a lot when we open and start operations of the other company, which is going to take care of all water bodies within the rural sector. Really, if we can chase away Kiwasco today, who will mentor the other company? We can't wish away Kiwasco in one way or the other. Really, we don't rely on matters of compromising and such kind of things. We stick by law. This is the only committee which is guided by principles of law. Really, we can't get outside the law. We must stick to that. And you know what is expected from the members of the county assembly once the audited report is deposited by to the assembly. So kindly, please, we are going to understand a lot, because even before some of the members came, we had deliberated on some issues. One of them is how to invite the county secretary. One, how to invite the minister for water. Two, how to invite the county attorney in the assembly so that they tell us the position of the new entity. Because for Nyanas and Gulf, if their hands are not held by Kiwasco, will not be having any entity to be inherited. So really, it is the Kiwasco doing the structures and everything. So we will not wish away Kiwasco. Kiwasco has all the rights to appear in the assembly because it will guide a lot on the issues. That is very clear. We proceed to question 3.
Thank you, Chair.
You don't just make pronouncement for the sake of pleasing somebody, Chair. without reference to the law. Chair, you could have made that pronouncement by allowing Kiwasco, but you could have indicated, however, we are allowing them here. But there are loopholes. There are serious loopholes. Because, Chair, I'm talking about what I know. I'm talking about what I know. Somebody somewhere has taken the water company for granted. Why don't you wait so that I need under which standing order? Can you make that reference to that standing order? But the law indicates that you should violate the standing order, not just waking up from your slumber and saying that a point of order. What is point of order?
Honorable Chair, I think this is a house of law. And I want to agree with the Honorable Whip. He has said that here we should be following the law. And the law states that when the chair has already made a ruling, we don't have to discuss the ruling of the chair. So he should also stand guided by that, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
We are proceeding to question 3.
The supporting documents for service for KAL 847U for 219,400 are available and are attached for verification on Annex 4. That was also provided during the audit.
Back to that was part 1, part 2, and part 3. So we agreed that they be answered in parts.
Thank you, Chair. The supporting documents were provided.
Question 3. Unsupported legal expenses. Included in the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended 30th June 2024, and as reflected in Note 11 to the financial statements, are general and operations expenses amounting to Kenya shillings 3,247,473. Included in this amount is Kenya shillings 98,600 paid as legal fees by the company during the year under review. However, supporting records such as court attendances, court proceedings and court ruling, and basis for computation and invoicing of legal fees were not provided for audit review. In the circumstances, the accuracy and regularity of expenditure of Kenya shillings 98,600 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Counting officer.
The supporting documents were provided during the audit as in Annex 5. Check the Annex 5, there are documents supporting the 98,600.
Back to the auditors.
Thank you, Chair. The following documents were not provided. Court attendances was not provided. Court proceedings and court ruling was not also provided. The basis for compilation and for computation and invoicing of the legal fees was not also provided. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers. It is confirmed that you are claiming to have provided. It's not.
Chair, there is an invoice that was provided. There's a receipt. The invoice that came from Mwamu and Company Advocates. The payment voucher, the receipt from Mwamu, but there's a letter from the lawyer who represented the company, Otieno Amisi. Otieno and Amisi Advocates is also attached there, and they're giving us instructions as saying that we further write to you that advise that we attended the court on the said date, during which the court gave a ruling on assessment of cost in the sum of 98,600 with 30 days stay of execution. I don't want to read everything that is there, but there
Is that a court? Is that a court attendance to justify? Because that is just a letter from an advocate who probably did not even appear. How would that convince that they appeared?
Chair, the advocate appeared. The advocate appeared. There are some documents.
And that was not an audit query. It was the court attendances, court proceedings, court ruling based on. Yes. So such kind of things. Those are the things being asked. But you are answering something different from what the auditor's concern is. Members?
Thank you, Chair. Did you grant? Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think the management needs to provide just basically those documents that were asked. Don't go outside. And the auditor is asking the court attendance. I'm yet to see any inside here. Not statement from the lawyer. The auditor is asking court proceedings. If we had like four mentions and judgment, then you just provide that. On this day we had a mention, on this day we had a mention, on this. How are the proceedings of the court? I'm yet to see there. And then the court ruling. Because that is what confirmed that it's true you went to a court, and the court took a process, and the court made a determination on that case. And I think if it's true you went to court, you can download that in Kenya Law Reports. You can just download that court ruling, even right now, if it's true you went to court, and provide that here. I don't know what is that. And then if you engage a lawyer, I mean, they have fee notes that they give their clients. You provide that as proof that we have this fee note, they intended to charge us this, and that is what we paid. Because maybe the fee note is saying 200,000, and then on what you are now paying is more than or less. I think that's what the auditor is asking. And if you can't provide that, then sometimes it's not clear if we really engaged a lawyer in this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Just on the same, I think it's very clear that the auditors are not disputing the payment, and from the facts that have been provided right now, is proof of payment in terms of receipt and the check number, whatever, and the lawyer demanding the same money. What is in question is the process. Was there court sessions? Was there a determination? And what was the ruling? Then to justify the expenditure. That's all. Thank you.
What are the accounting officers? What are you talking about?
Thank you. We are saying that we've noted that, and we provide that with 2 working days.
But how comes you are claiming to have provided? You know, when you do relevant documents, that does not mean you will be cleared. Obviously. Yeah, you must go with the auditor's requirements, and that is what is expected of you. Yeah, so the matter is not resolved at all. Now, you talk about providing. When are you going to provide? And this is the last window so far given to you. You want us to rule that you will provide? But you had all the entry meeting, exit meeting, and today you are invited here. This is the last window so far.
Chair, if allow me, we did not have a latitude for this during this audit. And
does it mean,
here, the auditors are aware, probably because of the time constraint that they had, we could not have this to partly clarify some of these issues that were there.
But I can see you are you talking on behalf of the auditors?
I'm talking because
they're here. When they are here, they have to talk on their side. You also talk on your side.
Yes.
But the moment you now will talk, they had a short time, such kind of things. It's like you are talking on their behalf.
The kind of pressure.
Or what you are seeing, your impression. Are you talking about your impression?
The auditors explained to us the kind of pressure they had.
Or they told you they could not get all the documents from you because they are busy?
We did not have time to do this audit as was required
Auditor.
Right. Thank you. No, audit is a process. There is no way it can have that kind of time constraint as management is saying. So I think that is out of order. Don't even ask the auditor. There is time to do all this. These are in their position. We are not asking. They were not asking for some things to be imported or exported from somewhere. These are the things they have. So the matter of timeline could not be in this scenario. Thank you.
That is just a proposal from a member, but is the chair is at liberty to ask you. Really? You mean you mishandled the Nyanas and why? Why did you have to do that? But I'm also surprised that they were not given time to do all these things. And they were given time and invited in the assembly to appear. Why did you not bring it today? Because the other time, the auditors were very busy. Yes, they were very busy. But now that you are invited and given time to appear, why did you not bring it today?
Chair.
Before I give them back, let us give the auditors.
We did not mishandle the financial statements of Nyanas as arranged by the management. We did the audit according to the instructions that we got from the Auditor General, and we fulfilled them. And we issued the report to Nyanas by 30th December 2024 as required by the law, and according to the court ruling which happened sometime last year, where Kenyan went to court and the court said that constitutional timelines are mandatory. From the time we gave them the report on 30th December to date, they should have assembled all those records that that were listed in the auditor's report and provided them to the audit office and to this assembly. So from the time they received the audit report on 30th December, they were still at liberty to respond to the audit queries up to today when we are meeting here as an assembly. So the question of time does not really arise. Thank you.
But they are here talking about you did not give them time. Maybe they are the one to say what time. Really, what time was it? Because you talked about how.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the accounting officers talked of the word latitude. Sometimes they need to expand for us to understand what they mean, but they did not have the latitude. Is it that you are trying to say that the Auditor General refused to allow you for an exit meeting so that you are so much constrained to have time to respond to some of the issues? Is that what you are trying to say?
That is true.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I said this is not in any way to debate. The time was there. They just failed to do it. So let us move as such.
From the time the auditor left them to today, they still cannot provide us with court ruling, which they can just download. So the issue of them saying that they didn't have time is neither here nor there.
Really, they don't convince the chair. You have never convinced the chair because you had all the time to do all this, but you did not do this. Let it be very clear that you have to provide supportive documents. Audit is about evidence. We don't just talk about hearsay. It is about evidence. If you fail to provide the supportive document and the right documents, you will fail. Like now you claim to have provided some documents which are irrelevant to what the auditor wanted. So you provided, yes, but they are not in line with what is expected. So kindly next time, we advise that you provide the necessary documents at the right time. The person of auditor is not busy. You are a client. It's upon you now to prepare within 1 year, preparing for the audit report, and it is done after every 1 year. So it is upon you now to prepare the documents, put them ready, even if they are wanted today, you consolidate everything, you take to the auditor. Final. Number 9.
Number 9, Non-compliance with law on constitution of the board of directors. During the year under review, the company did not have a board of directors in place. This was contrary to the requirement of Section 79(1) of the Water Act 2016, which provides that water services providers shall have a board of directors, and in the case of a company, a member of its board of directors shall be constituted in accordance with the Companies Act 2015 and any other written law, and the directors shall be nominated to serve on the board in accordance with the company's memorandum and articles of association. It was therefore not possible to confirm the validity of the operations of the company in the absence of a board of directors. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
The accounting officers.
Yeah. Kiwasko was appointed to offer management support, and it has an ad hoc committee of its board of directors, dubbed 3-1, who oversight the activities. Kiwasko's board cannot assume full responsibility as per the Company Act 2015, hence the need to fully operationalize the rural water company, Kiwasko, already incorporated. Thank you.
Back to the auditors.
Thank you. Both directors have not been appointed.
It is law. That is a requirement of law. That is a requirement of law. Why are you fighting the law of the land?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it is true that the board of directors has not been appointed. It is the responsibility of the county government to do that. And we expected that once this honorable house had formulated and passed the Kisumu County Water Act 2023, which provides for incorporation of a rural water company, then that should be operationalized, and the governance issues will be sorted, including appointment of board of directors.
Members, Honorable Rakwach.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, for the purpose of record, I wish that the management adduced this document, because in their management response, they have stated that Kiwasko was appointed to offer management support, and it has a ad hoc committee of its board of directors, dubbed 3-1. So if at all this statement is valid, that it was appointed, I think this appointment was not by word of mouth, but maybe by a document. So it is good that they adduced that document so that we confirm that it was appointed. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Even if it was not procedural, it's legal in one way or the other. Where is the appointment letter?
Chair, there is no appointment letter. This arrangement to offer management support was out of necessity. Gulf and Nyanas were moribund. They were not operating at all. And the county government approached Kiwasko to offer management support.
According to your response, the response is actually explaining something different from what we are talking about. You are appointed to do that.
Thank you, Chair. Probably the word appointed has not been used appropriately. Yeah, so there's no appointment letter.
But surely, even if there's any MAU, we may confirm to the House that it has not been seen.
Yes, I confirm that it has not been seen, but we are ready to avail it. Thank you, Chair.
James Omolo.
Chair, I assume that when we have ad hoc committee, there are members, and they are part of the board of directors of Kiwasko, who in this case, they have been delegated some duties out of Kiwasko to do the management for Nyanas in this case. So there should be a documentation towards that. And I think the management just should provide that so that we know James Ocheng-Omolo, Seto Kumu, these guys were there as an ad hoc committee to implement. Because in case of anything, they are seemingly responsible for the day-to-day running of Nyanas, if I can get from this query. And Chair, everything surrounds to Kirwasco. The earlier we operationalize it, the better for us. Seemingly, there is just a vacuum somewhere, which this Kirwasco should just fit in, and then we plug and play and we move. Thank you.
Honorable Kumu, pass. Thank you, Chair. Chair, out of interest to have these companies work, we made an attempt to find out who this board of directors were. And Chair, I want to say here beforehand, sir, that we could only trace 3. By then, one was a member of county assembly. Now she's not. One Priska Uma Misachi. The next person was a former clerk and also the clerk of the assembly of Kisumu, Mr. Ben Opio. And I'm forgetting one person who was coming from, I think, Kericho. I think I want Cheriot or something. I don't know if it's in the purview of Kiwasco to force these people to appear as directors. But I know they are existing. We followed up with the previous water committee. These things we were doing together with the water committee, just to let them know the challenges that we're having in these companies and what we can do to make them work. I think, Chair, we need to follow with these 3 people who are existing and see how we can move forward in winding up this company. And I just want to inform the Office of the Auditor General that as much as we write that they are not there, I know 3 of them are there. But I think 2 also, that we had their names, we could not trace where they were. But 3 we could trace from some documents that were existing. But Chair, having said that, Kiwasco has said that they have, I don't know what board, an ad hoc board, an ad hoc committee, whatever they call it. But that ad hoc committee, we need to know their names. Who are they? And what are their terms of reference? What are their TOR? What are they doing there? You are saying you are providing management support. And in that process, you have formed an ad hoc committee. What is the role of that ad hoc committee? How are they funded? Who pays for them? So that it's clear, maybe they are the ones who are talking with the former directors not to dissolve these companies. I'm not clear, because if we know them, we can talk to them, Chair. So they need to provide to us who these ad hoc committees are. But when it comes to the board of directors, which were there when we were registering the companies, we can go straight to the registration of companies and find other board members. Thank you, Chair.
Step Kanga.
Chair, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I don't have any problem with the issue of ad hoc committees. But, Chair, may I remind you that anything that is done in a public entity must be done within the confines of the law. Even in this assembly, we do form ad hoc committees, but we refer back to the statute. When UASCO was forming this ad hoc committee, which law did they refer to? Because, Chair, you know, we derive quasi-judicial powers under, I believe, Section 185 of the Constitution. We derive quasi-judicial powers. So the moment you indicate to this House that you formed an ad hoc committee, you have to refer us to the statute which allowed you to form that ad hoc committee, be the County Government Act. You can even go to the Memorandum of Understanding of Kiwasco, because they are company laws. You need to refer us to the company law, which allows the management of Kiwasco to form an ad hoc committee. Until such is not done, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, this law, I believe, is not relevant. Because, Chair, the audit committee does not necessarily audit fiscal matters. We do also audit human resource issues. So, Mr. Chair, I beg you to direct the Kiwasco board to indicate us the laws which allow them to form the ad hoc committee. Otherwise, thank you.
Honorable James Omolo.
Yeah, that also begs a question of who are the signatories of the Nyanas Limited, so that we know if it is this team, the ad hoc committee, who are now delegated to do that, which I know is impossibility, who are signing on behalf of Nyanas in terms of transaction at the bank or doing any other thing for that purpose. I think it has to come clear, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any response now? But from the promise that you are going to produce some other. Okay, thank you. You are invited.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. The ad hoc committee that Kiwasco board formed, the memorandum and articles of association and Kiwasco board charter allows the board to form an ad hoc committee. We could not offer management support without an oversight body. So the gap that we have in Nyanas, the board decided that let's form an ad hoc committee to offer oversight, so that yes, there are gaps, but at least some form of governance happens for both Nyanas, and GAFs. In terms of signatories, the CEC Finance allowed us, gave us the mandate, the MD Kiwasco and the head of finance and the project manager to be signatories to the two utilities. Thank you.
We brought to the attention of the committee that we are intending to register the rural water company and make it operate as required. But before that, we must do some due diligence. One, we need to see the memorandum of understanding. What is contained in that memorandum of understanding? You need to know actually how you are managing Nyanas and Gulf. What were involved, really? Because it is from there that we are going to now put the county attorney, the county secretary, and the CC for water. We want to meet them so that we make sure that everything goes as required. But before we do that, we need to understand a lot. And you know, when you talk about providing them, we need a proper document and more information concerning this so that now we can move forward. Really, it brings there are a lot of issues concerning how you manage to get into this entity, managing, doing some other things. And is it legal, really? Even if it is not legal, you'll have to explain yourself on ABCD. So I'm making a ruling that we need to see you here after 2 weeks' time from today. Make your documents properly so that now we'll be here. But before we meet you, we'll be also inviting county secretary, CC Water, and county attorney, so that we push them to act on the act which was passed by this house, so that it operates. That is very clear. So before we do that to them, we need to understand from you. Now, when we skip to the other page now, it will be seamless. I think it is very clear. That's a ruling from the chair. Yeah. Number 10.
Number 10. Lack of company incorporation. The management did not provide memorandum of association and articles of association for the company, and share 12, indicating names of the company directors for audit review. It was therefore not possible to confirm the registration and shareholding status of the company. This was contrary to Section 13(1) of the Companies Act 2015, which states that a person who wishes to register a company shall lodge with the registrar an application for registration of the company that complies with Section 2 and 4(b), a memorandum of association of the company, and C, except as provided by Section 21, a copy of the proposed Articles of Association. Management was therefore in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
So you realize, members, the concern of the committee and most of the members of the committee is just one, like the auditors. Yeah. So in line with that, really, because we had given a ruling concerning that, we are now reminding you that we need the CR12. Is that? Yes.
They say that they have the privilege of getting registration documents direct from, yes, that they can get this document. They can even know owners of these companies. And that's why the CEO of Lake Basin Development, was it Lake Development Corporation? Lakefront, yeah, Lakefront Development Corporation, could not get registration document, but they had. They appreciate that we are struggling to know all the directors of this company so that we can talk to them to wind up these companies. Can they help us get these documents so that we know the owners? Like I'm telling you, just out of tracing some old documents that we go to know the 3 members of Nyanas. I don't know a single director of a Gulf company. Chair, could they help us? Because they can access this document from the government offices more than we do. Or do we have a way of writing to those offices so that we can know the directors, we can talk to them so that they can help us facilitate the winding up of these companies so that Kiwasco can start operating? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, because we thought of not handling the question, but now, is it possible? It's just a request from the committee.
We will request the persons concerned, and then we revert back.
Now we will compare. We also need yours. Know how it's, yeah, we'll compare with what they bring. Because we want also to help Kiwasco so that we move ahead. I know you will be stuck with these issues always, even for the subsequent years. If it is not dissolved, really, you will have to explain, because you are the people now concerned with the management of the entity. But you must also help yourself. Not only the assembly helping you by doing the right things at the right time. Honorable Member? Oh, yes.
Note
yeah.
that I don't know the last time they filed their returns. So if they have not been filing returns over the years, not find them in the register. Hopefully. And that is why we have been asking this question, so that they can give us a, if they have been filing returns, if they are registered, if they have a registration certificate. That is the reason, because if they have not been doing all this all along, then it means we will not find them anywhere.
Maybe good brothers, the brothers who are holding a hand of a young man falling down each and every time. Have you been filing the returns?
Thank you so much, Chair. It's good to note that the same problem that the auditor is mentioning is what we have, and that's why these documents are not there. We are not able to find them anywhere. When the companies were handed over, there was no any document handed completely, including registration documents. We don't have them. And if we don't have the documents, as we say, this was in 2014, 2015, all those years before, we didn't have any document that refers to them.
How did you get into this? You know, how did you get into this? You know, you will have to answer us. You will have to provide all the documents we want, because you can't run an entity. That is quite unfortunate. We don't expect that.
How did you know you are taking over a company? Or how do you confirm that whatever you're taking over is a company?
If that is the case, then we should not even call this thing we are discussing an entity, because it only becomes an entity when it has certificate of incorporation plus those other documents. So if at all they are saying that they received the company without anything, a company cannot be a company without a registration. Then what did they receive? Did they receive a building somewhere called Nyanas? If that is the case, we don't have an entity. In fact, we are discussing what is not there, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, if at all there is a certificate of incorporation, I've seen a copy. And if you go to the Office of Registrar of Companies, you will get everything there, Honorable Chair. The initial directors, you will get them there. This article of association and memorandum of association, it is there, it is deposited there. The directors are given copies, while other copies are with the Registrar of Companies. So it is the management who don't want to get these documents, because when they get there, they will get them. And then, remember, we are live, and the KRA is also watching us. That no filing of returns, a company which was incorporated in the year 2007, we are shaking hands with the devil. And for you to file returns, you must have had the KRA PIN of the company plus the pins of the directors of that company. As you file for the company, you file for the directors as well. So in fact, we are discussing an illegal thing here which does not even file returns, does not even help in building of this nation, Honorable Chair.
I'm giving you, Honorable Member. Honorable Seth, I'm giving you, resume your seat, I'm giving you. Honorable Akwach, you can remember, the other time when they appeared here, we declined discussing this report. But we realized later that we are losing something. We don't understand something. Can't you see now things are now coming out very clear? Even what Honorable Seth Kanga was asking about, it is now just coming out itself without any struggle. Honorable Seth Kanga.
The question comes to the Office of the Auditor General. What have they been auditing all these years? This company was registered in 2007. And these indicators Honorable Kwachi is talking about, they are done annually. And the Office of the Auditor General has been doing these things in the subsequent years, in the previous years. What have they been doing? They have been auditing an illegal entity, a public entity which is illegal. Because before you audit on a company, you should be able to check on the required statutes which make the company a company, for you to admit the audit reports and thereby the reports responded to. So, Mr. Chair, we are dealing with an illegality. Finally, thank you.
I think we, at the start of the event, the auditor came out and explained to the committee something. But may I give back the Office of the Auditor so that they can explain again?
Give an additional comment on that, more than what I gave you at the start. Mandate we derive from the Constitution of Kenya, and for us to audit any public entity, we audit according to section Article 229, sub-Article 4 of the Constitution of Kenya. It spells out the mandate of the general to the audit, that is to audit all the government, the old government, the way it is, the public sector, the county governments, the courts, the independent offices, and at the bottom there it says any other entity that is funded from public funds. So anytime anybody receives public funds, whether it's legally registered or illegally registered, we are required to audit and report to the oversight authority. For this case, it is the County Assembly of Kisumu. That is why even schools where a school. I gave this example last time of schools where headmaster is the only person who knows thing that comes to school, to the school. Keeps everything under lock and key, and nobody else knows what the headmaster does. And we are required to understand and report accordingly. So we want auditors of Kiwasco, of Nyanas and GAF in the old days and labs. Yes, if I'm not wrong, when we could not audit them because of those challenges about their legality, their whatever, their ports and all that, realized that Nyanas and GAF are still benefiting from public funds. And we, in the report for Kiwasco 3 years back, we wrote a paragraph where we requested that these companies provide financial statements for audit, despite the fact that we are very much aware that they are not properly constituted. Therefore, we started auditing them, and this is the second time GAF and Nyanas are appearing before this committee. But any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is illegal. So we go by the constitutional provision, which provides that any public entity funded from public funds must be audited and therefore reported upon, and that is why we are auditing Nyanas and GAF, submit the report to the Assembly and to the Parliament as appropriate. So we are properly auditing the GAF, and the issues that we are putting in the report is the issues that we have realized, and we are bringing them to the oversight authorities and the concerned parties so that corrective measures can be taken.
Thank you so much, Chair. On that backdrop of the Auditor General, I want to agree, and they've been very supportive, and they've been providing information to this Assembly so that we can make decisions as a county government on what to do with these companies. They are telling us, you have a company, you are funding it, it doesn't have directors. You are a company, you are funding it, we don't know, we can't get financial statements. You have a company, you are funding it, it has problems, and having a disclaimer, audit report. What are we going to do? It's not about pinning people down. They are appearing before us to help explain what the auditor is saying, but it's taking us ages to make that decision. We have formed a company, it's taking us ages to operationalize so that we stop having these audit reports. Audit reports are not about fault finding. It's letting you know how you have been managing your finances, your staff, your resources, so that you make further determination on how best you can improve. That is what we need to focus on. It's not about fixing Kiwasco and telling them that they are bad. But knowing what's on the ground and then making a decision. Chair, that's what we need to focus on. And like I was saying, that we all agree, including the Office of the Auditor, that the best way to handle these two companies is to wind them up. And that is their recommendations. That is what we need to focus on. How can Kiwasco help us? How can the Assembly help? How can Auditor General's Office help? How can registration of companies help? So that we wind up all these companies. We let Kiwasco serve people with water the way they are doing. Their interest in having management support for these companies is so that people can get services. They are not interested in having money, because as a company that is 100% owned by the county, their intention is not to make any profit, but to provide services. If we were to say Kiwasco run away from those two companies, we know Nyakach won't be having water, we know Seme won't be having water, we know Maseno won't be having water. And that's why I usually repeat that laws are made for men, and men are not made for law. It's easier breaking, amending, bending the law so that people get services. Thank you, Chair.
Any member? But so far, I hope you are not regretting getting into this entity. You are not. You should not. Why? You should not. Now that we now get the true picture of what is happening, had it that you left it, you wouldn't have known anything. So now that you are there, you can understand really what is happening. So that will also actually influence our next move. So it is just right. Unless you are regretting. MD, are you regretting getting into this entity?
We are proud.
Yeah.
We are proud because
and we must confirm that you will be answerable to every inch of what is expected. Because actually that will help the house move. It is very clear. So this is why we are putting you to do that for the purpose of moving forward. Do what was ruled. I ruled on the kind of documents we want, and actually to explain further, apart from the auditor's report. You know, auditor's report is limited to it. We have to limit ourselves within the audit. But being an assembly, we have the powers to summon you, to talk to you, to make you appear, even 5 times if you want you here. That is our duty. So apart from the auditor's report, we need that. You remember it is 2 weeks. It will help us make decisions going forward. Number 11.
Number 11, operation without substantive accounting officer and management team. Information provided during audit and records examined revealed that the operations and management of the company were undertaken by a team from the Kisumu Water and Services Company. It was explained that the management arrangement was based on a memorandum of understanding between the county government of Kisumu and Kisumu Water and Sewerage Company for collaboration on management of water supplies in Kisumu County rural areas. However, the memorandum of understanding did not provide for appointment and secondment of an accounting officer and management team to the company. As a result, the company operated without a substantive managing director and a management team. In the absence of a substantive accounting officer and management team, it was not possible to confirm the effectiveness of governance processes in the company. The company lacked direction and authority from the management due to lack of a managing director and senior management. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the county officers. Somehow the same question, but maybe framed different. You can.
Rural management structure was developed by the county government of Kisumu to oversee the operations of the utility. The utility, however, cannot manage to have a robust team due to limitation in revenue realized at the
Back to the auditors.
Yeah, the company has not appointed substantive accounting officer and senior management. Thank
you. But you are there. You have all the teams. Maybe you are referring to some other entity apart from you. It is just you. How comes you are referring to some other entity again? Or what is happening? You seem to be there and not there, and referring to some other entity again.
We are there, and that is explained, given the structure that we are using currently to offer the management support. That one is.
That is the ad hoc.
But no, that is now the management. That is now we have the project manager, we have the area manager, then we have the zonal officer. So that structure is. No, I work at Kivasco, but we've seconded her to oversee that as the.
Yeah, Chair, if you like, I can add.
Yes.
Yes, it is true. Nyanas does not have a substantive accounting officer, and that is because of the gaps that we have all discussed here. And what we discussed here, if implemented, then is going to sort out that. Yeah, Nyanas Pool is Jakach Nandi Water Company. So you can understand now that this company was registered many years ago for evolution. Nandi have already formed their own company, but we are still remaining with this Nyanas. We don't have the documentation. So it is Kiriwasco that is going to sort out these issues, appoint a board of directors and substantive accounting officer.
Question 16. Question 16, maybe back to the editors.
Question 16B, weaknesses in payroll management. 16.2, weaknesses in payroll management. Review of the company's payroll revealed that the payrolls and casuals master rolls were not verified on a monthly basis and authorized by a senior official. In addition, the company operated without a human resource policy manual, staff establishment, and scheme of service. In the circumstances, it was not possible to confirm the existence of effective internal controls on staff recruitment, promotions, and management in the company. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officer. Do you have something to say?
Payrolls and master rolls are verified and authorized by a senior officer on a monthly basis. Copies attached on annex.
Back to the auditors.
Thank you, Chair. The company lack human resource policies, manuals, staff establishment, and scheme of service, internal controls. Thank you.
Yeah, you have something to say?
Yes, currently they do not, as we've agreed through and through, that the governance structure is not right. So what we are using is derived from what is available in Kiwasco. The moment we form the Kiwasco, then we'll be able to get all the policies and documents in place by the board that will be present at that given. But currently they're using all the documents we use at Kiwasco, because as the structure is, the management of Kiwasco is kind of overseeing each and every process within the rural utility, because they're not able to hire a substantive head of human resource or head of finance. So what we've done is, what we are doing with Kiwasco is what our management still at Kiwasco does at the rural at the same time.
Are you regretting having gotten into this?
As MD said, Chair, we are still proud because we know we are saving a lot of lives and providing this utility water to residents.
But we now note that it is quite demanding.
It has been demanding. It has been demanding all through, but we've held tight because we know what we are called to do is actually a service, not just to people, but to God.
We are done with the Nyanas. We are going to Gulf, and we are not going to sort many questions because some are just the same. We have only identified 2 questions. Yeah, and we are done. Those that did not appear the other side, because the entity in charge of the management is just Kiwasco. And some of the issues here repeated themselves. I think question 2 on financial matters, question 15, and question 18 only. We should start with 18. Question 18.
Question 18, irregular recruitment of staff. The statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and as disclosed in Note 9 to the financial statement, reflects staff costs of Kenya shillings 10,701,423. Review of payroll records revealed that 2 of the staff members were recruited during the year under review. However, this recruitment was not supported by departmental requisition, advertisements, application letters, shortlisted candidates list, board minutes, and interview reports. In the circumstances, it was not clear how the company recruited and hired its staff. It is also not possible to confirm the completeness and accuracy of the payroll costs. Thank you, Chair.
Most of them are just the same, but you will have to respond. Yeah. Back to the accounting officers.
Thank you, Chair. The process of recruitment is as follows. We identify the gap. Number 2, we consider our financial status as a company. Number 3, we do a formal request to fill the gap within the company. And number 4, we recruit internally, as we have people who have been volunteering as interns. And most of the roles that we actually recruit for are beginners jobs. And then number 5, interviews are conducted are carried to the shortlisted candidate. And the supporting documents are attached in number 6.
Back to the Office of the Director General.
Hey. Proper recruitment was followed. The recruitment staff. Each assessment, the listing, both minutes and the approval of it.
Before that, before I give you, let them respond, then we give you. Yeah. You have something to say?
Yes, Chair. If you go to Annex 6, you'll find a request by the area manager to the project manager indicating where the gaps were. That is the first internal memo, and the approval done on 15th of March 2023. And then following that, you'll see that is the gaps that are there. Having looked at it, if you look at that very one, you'll find that 2 were approved, but 1 was not because of the finances that we had at that given point, what we were able to absorb. At the second one, find that we have the interviews that were done, and we have 6 people looking for that interview, and the scoring is there and who was taken. Thank you.
Are you done? Was that part of the auditor's concern? Back to the auditor, are you?
With the response that the project managers brought up, I consider, or we may consider the issue resolved. Thank you, Chair.
Back to Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, going by what we have seen here, I believe the recruitment was illegal. Because, Chair, it is absurd that the same people who are managing Gulf are the same people who are responsible for managing Gulf. And Mr. Chair, the Auditor General did indicate to us that we don't have a board. For a recruitment to be done in an entity, I believe the board must sit, and the person responsible for human resource must indicate to the board as to why they are recruited, and the number of the personnel to be recruited, and the financial implications thereto. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, going by the Auditor General's report, these requirements were not adhered to. And Mr. Chair, the process, I believe, was not done in a proper manner. That refers us to what the Honorable Seto Kumu was talking to us. Even though Kiwasco was managing these said entities as far as the MOU is concerned, but do you believe that, Chair, that they must adhere to the law? Even if you are given leeway to manage an entity, you need to adhere to the law, or you just recruit without following the due process. And Mr. Chair, I believe something must be done, because this is abuse of office. Literally, general abuse of office, whereby recruitments are done without following the due process. And people have been arrested and charged in court in this Republic of Kenya. Even in this assembly where we are today. So, as custodians of the law, we need just to tell them that, oh, they were doing it. They are doing it on behalf of the county. They are doing it for the benefit of the county. So they are given just, and I know Setoku will defend them because he's got a passion of defending illegalities. But Chair, we need to stick to the law. If illegalities were committed, as per indicated by the Office of the Data General, then as Assembly, we should reaffirm it and call a spade a spade. And this, Chair, I think I rest my case because I don't want to talk.
Okay, thank you.
As much as that. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my question will be under this recruitment. Under the recruitment, the management, they have responded that they identified the gap and then considered all that they considered, after which there was a formal request to fill the gap. Recruitment was internal. The interviews were carried to the shortlisted candidates, as stated by their own selves, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, whatever is given in under Annex 6, I can only see the request and the interview summary. That is what I can see. There is no short list that they have talked about. I think we would have seen the long list, being that this was an internal recruitment. I know the applicants were few. So we should have had the long list. That is when we get the short list, because they have talked of the short list, meaning that there was that other one called long list. Both are not here, and they are talking about the short list. At the same time, of interest also, Honorable Chair, is that there was a request according to this Annex 6, there was a request from the area manager to the project manager. And I think if a request is made, then I expected to have seen also a memo from the project manager to the area manager rural supply, allowing them to undertake the recruitment. Because when you request, you expect a feedback before you carry out whatever you are doing, unless you are just doing it as a formality. That is when you will do a memo and then you just continue. You just proceed to do what? To recruit. So I expected a memo from this project manager to the area manager, allowing them to do what? To recruit. At the same time, Honorable Chair, you will get that the request was done on 28th February 2023, while the interview was carried out on 27th September 2023. That is almost 7 months down the line. So I don't know whatever was taking place in between. I think we should have had more documents to know that this, according to, after they had been allowed to recruit, the applications were going to run from which date to which date, what was their deadlines, and then shortlisting was done on which date, after which the interviews were done. After the interviews, where are the appointment letters, and even a copy of appointment letter, and when were they supposed to start doing what? To start working, Honorable Chair. Those are the gaps that I've identified, and I really wish that they at least shed some light. Thank you.
We want us to stay until tomorrow.
Chinkanga, allow me to tell the management that whatever was asked by the auditor, I'm yet to see an advertisement, whether it was an internal memo, because it's allowed. If you are doing an internal recruitment, you do an internal advertisement. So internal memo telling people that we had that, you would have provided that document. Then the application letters, if you didn't have them then, you would have brought them now on the number of people who applied, blah, blah, blah. Then the shortlisted candidates, I don't know why it's hard getting these documents, because I know you guys should be having them if it's true that you recruited. And then the board minutes and interview reports. Yeah, I don't see any of that except the document that my brother, the Honorable Prakwach, has talked about, which is request. I've just seen the request on annexed 5. They've mentioned annexed 4. But Chair, if you look at what has been raised as an audit query, that 2 staff were employed in that year without those documents. Only 2 is what the Auditor General is raising. Now, I'm looking at that letter that they've brought, and they've explained the kind of stuff they needed. One was to replace Mr. Iris Imbo, who had retired and was a water operator. And another one was to replace Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Linus, who exited the company, and they were handling Nyabondo at Turgame. Yeah, without having those people, then we won't provide water to our citizens. I think what we need to have at the back of our mind when we are looking at this audit report, did the activities that the company do help our people? Then we now go, did they break the law? Then was it worth breaking that law? Because if we didn't have a water operator, we are still waiting for advertisement and those things, and people don't have water. And we just heard recently that we have cholera in Kisumu. What situation would we have been? What was easy, having people get cholera or sticking to advertisement so that you can employ people? So I will repeat this over and over. I know we have laws and very good laws, but laws are made for men. Men are not made for law. Sometimes it calls for us to sometimes bend the laws so that we can provide services to the people. The main reason why we are here is, did the process that was floated help in providing services to the people? If it's true, then we can be like, you did wrong, next time do it right, but on this one we'll excuse you. But if you did something wrong and didn't help the people, then we can pin you down. Having only 2 people in a year so that people can get water in Seme and Nyakach and Maseno, to me I don't see a big problem.
Chair, with you, Honorable Seth is misleading. It's misleading this committee.
Honorable.
Chair, I'm always very impatient when a member misleads.
Honorable Seth, resume. I'm going to give you.
No.
Resume your seat.
Chair,
just resume your seat.
Chair, the Honorable Seth is
Honorable Seth. Just resume.
We are too sad.
Which Seth are you talking about?
Seth.
No. We will talk later. Seth has talked. So I totally agree with, but here we compare. And you know, the other members, the management has provided a letter of request, even explaining the names. What we can do further is to find out, was it true that Mr. Imbo exited the company? Is it true that Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Linus had exited that company? Was it necessary to have them? And did the process get people that really replaced them? Then if they did the wrong process, now we can prosecute the wrong process. But first thing is, was service given to the people? Was service given to the people? To me, that's what's key in any audit report. Thank you, Chair.
Before I give Honorable Seth Kanga, it is very clear. It is very clear. Ignore the rules, constitution, at your own risk. If you do that, that is a personal opinion. It's free to talk about that. But if you ignore the law, it is going to be a matter. It must appear when we talk about effectiveness and application of law. So it is very clear. Honorable.
Mr. Chair, I always respect my friend, my namesake, Honorable Setukum, was a good debater in this house. And Mr. Chair, our mandate is very clear: to oversight, represent, and to legislate. Legislate laws. And the laws must be adhered to. And if you read the Constitution very well, there is nowhere indicated that you are supposed to bend the law to provide services. This is where abuse of office comes in. When you need to recruit on casual basis, that's where you recruit to provide services. You can recruit a doctor on casual basis while waiting to confirm him on permanent basis. And it must be competitive with other doctors. But where you recruit a plumber on a permanent basis, just because a pipe has burst at Nyamas Junction, Chair, I believe that is not the law. The law clearly indicates it is indicated how workers are supposed to be recruited in our human resource manuals. And Mr. Chair, when we are inducted, we are always given those human resource manuals to go and read them. And some of the honorable members in this house apparently do not read those human resource manuals. That's where abuse of office comes in. You recruit without following the due process. That is absolutely abuse of office. And your vice, Honorable Nditi, will confirm it. When you recruit without following the due process, first of all, a meeting of the board must be convened. And the CEO thereto must convince the board as to the reasons why they are recruiting those staff and the financial implications thereby. Because you can recruit a staff which the company cannot manage his salary or her salary. You can recruit a staff whose value is not seen in that company. And the Auditor General has indicated to us the discrepancies which were followed while the board was recruiting, while the Nyanas was recruiting, or the Gulf was recruiting. And we have to adhere to that. Let's call a spade and move on. And this is where EACC is coming in. I think EACC should move to these facilities, this entity, and arrest somebody. I don't know why. This is a company which was formed in 2007. There are no annual reports. The AGM is not there. The company is operating. They are recruiting people without following the due process. And the EACC is just a quiet. And they are still coming to us to cheat us in spite of the audit reports, which are tabled here by professionals. Mr. Chair, I think that we are heading towards the wrong direction somewhere. Something must be done so that we record, we straighten things as an assembly. Otherwise, Chair, on the issue of recruitment, you have seen it elsewhere, where people are surcharged. And even it was indicated that if you earn salaries without following the due process, you are recruited illegally. You have to forfeit that salary for the period you have been earning that salary. And even there are court pronouncements to that effect. High Court rulings in the Labor Relations Court that if you are recruited illegally and you earn salaries illegally, the management does not terminate your contract before they get the money which you have been earning illegally. And there is a case where they have been recruiting. I think it's somebody had been benefited from this illegality. As an assembly chair, the Auditor General has highlighted it. Something must be done. Thank you.
We want to make a ruling on that so that we move ahead. It is very clear we were asking for some more supportive documents concerning this. Now we will make a ruling on that if we receive the supportive documents. If you have any other document which you feel is important for this exercise, because we are going to write our report, and our report might incriminate somebody. So before that, we are giving you the opportunity. Kindly please provide the necessary documents which are actually missing. I just heard from the Auditor General report that they are satisfied with what you have provided so far. But the Assembly has the leeway to ask for more documents if you feel it's necessary. So that is outside the audited report. We will have to do that. I don't think we can't conclude, unless you want something, we can't conclude that there is an abuse of office until now we verify from the documents. It's very clear. It is not a blanket condemnation on anybody. So unless you want to talk about something else, and the chair has ruled, or you want to behave like some non-members? No. You are not allowed now. I've ruled that there must be a respect on law, rule of law and such kind of thing. Yes, we don't buy your idea. 15. Number 15.
The remittance of regulatory fees.
Yes.
The statement of financial position reflects trade and other payables under current liabilities balance of Kenya shillings 10,018,728 as disclosed in Note 40 to the financial statements. Included in this amount are long outstanding payables to the Water Services Regulatory Board of Kenya shillings 374,634. No explanation was provided for the failure to settle the outstanding amount. Failure to settle debts may result in losses in case of fines and penalties. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers.
Yeah, the accrued amounts relates to period before 2015. Payment plans have been placed to settle the debts with relevant bodies. We are paying both current and part of the accrued debts. But I would want to also for this house that if we don't bring in the Kiruasco type operationalize it, then you are going to have more problems going forward, because some of these bodies which are not named here today will be named in the next audit. Because as much as you want to pay current, their current fees, not be able to, because currently they are doing that through e-citizen. Before we would give them checks and they would accept. One of them being NEMA, the second one being WRA. So now that they've changed the payment system to then we are not able to remit any payments even if we want to. So I think just as we said, in 2 weeks' time when you're having the meetings, this is a bit urgent to enable us to be able to operate legally in the Kenyan.
Auditors.
Payment plan.
Honorable member.
Yeah, I think the auditor is right. The payment plan, if we are paying the current ones, we ought to have seen the formula which is being used to reduce the debt before 2015, because if they are paying plus the part they are using to clear the debt, I think the formula should have been availed, and we see how the payment plan is going so that it is solved. Also, I didn't get that part of e-citizen. Maybe they can come back again, that it will be impossible even to pay in the future because of this introduction of the new system at e-citizen. Maybe let her clarify how and the interest thereof.
Plan, you have to specify very clearly then the issue of e-citizen not paying through e-citizen. In the past, we used to pay through the checks. Now, is it not allowed for you to pay? You can't pay that money through e-citizen, and why?
Thank you, Chair. This was a change of law, a directive, I think, by the government, I think by the president, that all payments, and even you saw from universities, and even fees were supposed to be paid through e-citizen. And so this affected these public utilities, including water, Warma, and NEMA. And because of that, for you to get and register into e-citizen, there are documents that are required, legal documents that are required, which we don't have as a company. So we cannot register them. If they allowed us to pay the way we were paying via checks, it would be okay. But now they don't accept the checks. You have to go because they have to adhere with the directive of the president and with the government that the payments be made through e-citizen, the consolidated payments to government services. So because of that, we are restricted in making payments. If we had these documents, we'll register. For Kiwasco, we are paying because we have all the documents and we've signed and we're able to pay. For Nyanas and Gulf, we are not able to pay now. In as much as we had tried to reduce the debt that was there initially before 2013, before 2015, and we took it upon ourselves as much as that debt appeared even when the company was a shell, but we said we are going to do what? We are paying, and we have been paying. Only that now we are restricted because of the change in the law. Which, as my colleague has said, the project manager, availability of this, currently as it said, we don't have these documents, and as much as we're going to take even 10 years, Chair, we can say we don't have the documents. The new way is if this new company will be operationalized, we will have all the documents that are required, and those documents can now be used to register and make these payments.
Okay.
Thank you.
We talked about two things. The payment plan. Within your budgeting, when you are budgeting for the year, you have to budget for this. Is that not clear?
Yes.
Now, when you budget for this, do you have this money in place, waiting for the documents?
Chair, the other thing we need to mention on that, on your question, we don't use the cash basis that we say we're going to get this money. No, it depends on the amounts that we get. We depend on the amount that we receive at a very given time. But we purposed amongst us and said, this is a legal debt that is there and we have to pay.
Okay.
And we have been paying that current one, but a bit of the old debt to just try and reduce it. Because we cannot also pay it once because of the capacity of these companies. They don't have enough revenue to pay it once.
Okay, well said.
Yeah.
Honorable Member?
Honorable Chair, I'm just wondering aloud how we are going to help these companies and even the management, because the management is lamenting that they don't have documents. But we get that they even have demand notes because this water services regulatory body, they are demanding some payment so that maybe they can issue the licenses. And how is the management knowing that they owe this board 374,000 shillings? Meaning that they are getting served that you need to pay this. And how? While they are claiming that they just have a shell. At the same time, they are saying that they have the payment plan. For payment plan to be valid, they must have agreed with the regulatory board that this is how we are going to pay our debt. You cannot just make your payment plan without agreeing with the person you are owing. Because maybe he's opposed to that your plan. So you must be together, agree that as we pay our current debt, the dead debt, we are going to pay this way. Then you make an agreement. During that time, you will even agree on the way you are going to do what? You are going to make payment. They will assist you. So I'm just wondering how we are going to help the management to help these companies. And then this one will take me back to what Honorable Seth said, that the only way to help these companies is to wind them up. Yeah. Or they be registered afresh. That is the only thing that can really help these companies. I'm wondering. I'm just wondering.
Before I give a kumukumu, you see, surely we don't intend to move on with these companies. Don't you understand? We want the county secretary here, we want CCs here, we want county attorney here, we want the relevant people to be here. Even Kiwasco, that day they will be here. We want to move to another level. That is now the rural water company, which is containing all the sub-counties within county, apart from central, which is, so that is our intention, really. But before we get there, we need to understand, now we understand the need to move forward. Honorable Seth.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to bring to the attention of these members that the struggle that Kiwasco is having with these companies is just to have the county government get hold of this company so that the asset that these companies are having, which were financed by the local government, be transferred to the county government. If they let it go, these people that you don't know will lay claim to the land and to all those assets of those water facilities, and we won't have anything. And there are people who are pushing for that. That's what you see people are fighting Kiwasco to leave the support management support that they're providing these facilities. Once they leave, then these people will claim ownership of those facilities and even sell them to anyone, and our people won't be having water. We must support Kiwasco. All these questions that we are asking are very valid, but they are not applicable. The Auditor General is just letting us know the situation as it is on the ground so that we take action. I don't think it's for them to bring Kiwasco here so that we pin them down. And I'll repeat this again. Chair, Islam is the strictest religion in the world in terms of their laws. But even in their strict guidelines, they say pork is haram. But they say if you are going to die and you only have pork, eat it first. Be alive, and then people can discuss later. This is the situation we are having with these companies. We are pinning these people down. They are getting hold of this company so that the county government can have a say in this company as they are being dissolved. There are some people outside there who just want Kiwasco removed. After removing Kiwasco, they remain as directors. They send the county government away and they claim the properties. We must support Kiwasco and their management support they're providing for these facilities. The questions are valid. I don't know how they can answer. They're told to have board minutes for board of directors. We know they don't have a board. Where will they get that board to have those minutes? How do we move forward with the board members and the auditor is asking for board minutes? Chair, I rest my case.
Thank you. I think, Chair, the earlier we wind up these companies, the two of them, Gulf and Nyanas, the better for the county and the better for our people. One, the service is needed. Water is a necessity that nobody can live without. And I want to thank Kiwasco for coming in. I was there when Kiwasco was coming in the first assembly, when they were taking over Nyanas, the Nyakach water supply system. It had been dead for years, until they came in and paid a debt of Kenya Power for I don't know how many millions, resuscitating the whole system. It was a done. And it serves so much population in southwest Nyakach, north Nyakach, and central Nyakach, and southwest. You see, we had to do something as a county then. And MOU was done, which was a stopgap. So until we have the other one, which is Kiwasco, they still be there. The only thing that we need to do, get hold of these directors. In this meeting we are forming soon. Let the directors release these companies. Let them dissolve them so that we get the ownership of the assets and liabilities of the same so that it can move. Right now, even if one of the directors take Kiwasco to court or take county government to court, I don't know what we can say. While they know very well this is not their asset, but legally, with the instrument of power they have, we don't even know whether the certificates are with Kiwasco or with them. It might be with somebody inside the directorship. So, Chair, all this we are discussing today, this roller coaster thing has to be ended in the next audit by getting Kiwasco on board to take over all our rural systems. That is the only way to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Remember, sometimes you really amaze me. I'm told when Kiwasco came to take over from this, you paid some bills for entity which was now almost kneeling down. Yeah, your place. Yeah, that is very good.
Chair, I was in that assembly. We had to appropriate money so that they can take over. They were taking over a shell. That is in respect to Nyanas in Nyakach. They were taking a shell. We had to appropriate money in the budget. They had to take the money to Kenya Power and now to do all the things they were to do. And that is when the MOU was born and they took over the management until today. Thank you.
So the intention was right. Members of the county assembly. Okay, thank you very much. That is very good. Now, if I really understand that, I did not that Kiwasco took over, we'd have lost a lot in terms of county. Really, that is true. This is why we allowed this audit report to be done in the assembly, unlike the other one. We were not understanding anything, but we dug deeper into issues and we realized that the anchor is just Kiwasco. Without Kiwasco, we can't move, really. But we have to help. As members of the county assembly, it is our duty now to streamline everything. There are things that probably you have written letters, you have shown, you have talked to several people, but they don't listen to you. Now, when they come to the oversight body, they will listen. That is why we are calling the county secretary, who will stand here for the governor, really, one way, and another person who will be here, DC Water. The committee for water will also involve the committee for water. We'll make sure we work together because it's an issue. Now we will have whoever is in charge of dissolving the company or winding it up is the county attorney. He will also be present here. But apart from that, we also have some other issues concerning audit queries, which we require the assistance of the attorney general. We need a lot of things. Now, another thing that is also required, when we do our letters, and the letters goes to the office of the county secretary, it delays. We want him to explain why it delays. Because most of the departments are also complaining about, oh, we have never got a letter, such kind of things. That is now one thing. But with that combined and multi-sectoral approach, we'll achieve something. So no one will blame the other, oh, I called who, I did this. We'll make sure we have a solution that is now going to form the operation of that company. It is very clear. And that is now, until then, that is now you will leave. But for now, kindly please, you can't leave. Because when you leave it to the scavengers. You will really be in a problem. I think we are done with our reports. We appreciate everybody. And Kiwasco for spirited effort to explain what is expected of you. We know it is quite demanding, and even to the office of the auditor. Thank you for coming up with this report. It's an eye-opener for the whole community of Kisumu County. Thank you, and let me pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold in your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in the country. Bless your blessings, send upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in a just and a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace and prosperity and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you. MD, kindly please approach the chair.